Hi, my name is Craig Anderson, and welcome to another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. Today we have with us Michael Casey from Survey Advantage. How you doing, Michael?
Very good, thanks.
I want to thank you for taking the time to come out and give our customers an opportunity to hear what your product's all about.
Thank you, Craig. It's my pleasure.
So, Michael, tell us a little bit about Survey Advantage and the products and services that you offer.
Well, Survey Advantage focuses on working with companies to help them stay connected with their customers, understand if they're doing a good job, and then making them aware of other things that they do. And we work with several industries. Thrifty Rent-A-Car is an example. We help them gather feedback after transactions. Manufacturers like Mustang or Zodiac in the manufacturing segment. And in printing, we do quite a bit. That's one of our major verticals, where we help printers get feedback from their print buyers on a continuous basis throughout the year.
And that is the industry that we want to talk about in particular today.
Yes, and we're going to focus on that today because each industry, it has to be tailored to who you're surveying. And the printing industry is very unique, and there's certain things that are different about it that we need to take into account.
Well, since we're talking about the printing industry and surveying, why don't you tell us a little bit about what the advantages are to a printer in using a service like yours for surveying their customers?
Well, there's three major reasons why engaging a print buyer throughout the year is important. One is, and the most common reason, is retention of the client. So if something's going wrong, you want to know immediately so that you can correct it. Preserving jobs, which means if you botch a job or something goes on, you want to know about that so you can retain that job in the future when it comes around. But then also gain awareness. Let your print buyers know what else you offer. And then this third one is referrals, which is ask them for a referral. If someone gives you a very glowing comment, there's creative ways that you can design a survey to cultivate a relationship for referrals.
That's true. And as a business owner, it's very important to get that feedback because you never want to get the feedback when it's too late. And that's usually when the customer is upset or they've had numerous bad experiences, and sometimes it's too hard to do anything about it at that point. So it's always good to get feedback, positive or negative, throughout the time frame of your relationship. Can you give us a few examples of how surveying your customer base can help retain that business or improve your service to that business?
Sure. I think some specific examples may bring that idea to light a little bit. And one example is like Ted Raymond. He's down in Arizona, and he was surveying, and just one came across one of his largest accounts. It was worth $150,000 a year. He was shocked he got it, but the person basically was flaming him with a bunch of comments saying you're not doing a very good job. Jumped in his car, drove out there, made it right, saved the account. Other people, University of Nebraska, which is an implant, and I know you
She's
work
one
with
of our customers.
one of your customers. She went out with these surveys and was coming back. 25% of her customers were clicking other services in the survey that they were buying elsewhere, and then she started bidding on those jobs and winning those jobs. So that was an example of how she expanded the business.
Yeah, she got more business from that information.
It generated leads. And then Jim Quinn down in Texas, he implemented the referral program type process where those that clicked very loyal, meaning they're very likely to recommend him, we drop those print buyers onto basically a page thanking them and asking for a referral. And in the first month, he got 5 referrals and he turned on one new account, which he feels is going to be a big account long term. So that's the third reason to survey. You don't get a lot of referrals, but the ones you get are usually pretty hot because it's someone giving you a name to go.
Well, that's a good
up.
way to do business. So with this service, you can help retain accounts by addressing any problems that come up.
Right.
You can help obtain new services that a customer of yours may not know you provide. And you can also get referrals and completely new business through some of this surveying that you offer.
Right. There's a fourth reason too, and a lot of people are starting to do more of this, and that is on the bottom of the survey having a box that says, do we have permission to use your comments in our marketing? 95% of the comments are awesome. They're very glowing comments about your team, about specific individuals, what makes you different about the other printers they work with. And that's just another way of mining testimonials you can put on your website or to use when you're going to close new accounts.
Michael, we use surveying here in our company, and it's very important to us. But one of the things that always concerns me is that we're going to survey our customers too much. and then we're not going to get the responses that we really want to get. So what are some of the best practices for surveying your customers?
Well, best practices varies by industry. And in the printing industry, some of the best practices are, one is don't over-survey your print buyers. Some people put cards in the shipments that go out, or they'll send out a survey every time. We say don't do that. The reason is they get stale, the people get bored with it, they get annoyed. Actually, it can drive loyalty down. So the key is to manage frequency to repeat buyers. So what we recommend is every 90 days. If someone's buying from you regularly, a print buyer, don't survey them more often than every 90 days. So you really got to have a filtering mechanism to pull those names out. Any new customers or anyone that buys a couple times a year can get a survey each time, and they're fine with that. The second thing is to personalize the email message and keep it short. So think of an email coming in as coming from someone that they know that has authority. One of the downsides that I've seen some printers do is they have the CSR send them out, or the sales rep, and it's kind of hard for a print buyer to give candid feedback if they know it may hurt that person that they rely on. And you need candid feedback, though, so it's a kind of a balancing act there. So have it come from someone that they feel comfortable to fill it out, keep it short, tell them it's 6 questions, and really stick to it. Yeah. Some people say 6 questions, they get to 20, that's bad. And then in the message itself, say if you're a repeat customer, you will only see this every 90 days. So you're telling them up front how often they're going to get it, tell them how long it's going to take them, less than a minute, and it's coming from someone they know. And the subject line should be inviting as well. So really think of it almost like your e-marketing, where you want it to be, you got to look at the subject line, the body, and the survey. The survey should be something that is other-centered. Think of your customer, not what you want to know. Yeah. It's kind of, you got to get inside their head to really make sure that it.
So I think our audience is probably wondering how your customer pulse service works. Can you give us some examples of how that works?
Sure. The whole idea of the service is to make it easy, the administration time almost nothing. So because that's what gets people bogged down in doing surveying. As they say, it takes too much time. So we give guidance on how to drive response rates. So how do you drive a response rate? We try to shoot for 30% response rate. How do you do that? Yeah. And it's managing frequency to repeat buyers, a couple other things. So we create a customized survey branded to their business, because again, you want it to be personalized. The email invitation has to be personalized. The ongoing frequency, so the customer says, this is nice, I'm getting it the way I want it. We completely manage the launch process, meaning we scrub the list when we get it. So if you give us a raw data file of all your shipments, we dedupe the list, and then we manage the frequency. And then we watch the response rate, and we actually monitor the response rate monthly. If we see that dropping down, we make changes because it gets stale. So you got to be on it. You can't just let it, okay, we got it, and we're done with that. And then we update the questions. This industry is changing rapidly. A lot of printers are going into marketing services. So again, you got to look at the questions, and some of those awareness questions change.
Yep.
And you got to be up to speed on that. And then the goal is the process should take you less than 1 or 2 minutes a month to get us what we need, which is where you came in with your reporting.
Yeah. So we've talked about producing surveys and surveying the customers. One of the things we haven't talked about yet is how the user, the printer, is going to see this information, this feedback that they're getting. Can you give us some examples of what some of that feedback based on reporting or dashboards, what that looks like?
Sure, and I can just show you a few right
Sure.
here. The first one is a dashboard that compares how you're doing against the industry. We capture right now we're capturing 7,500 print buyer survey results each quarter. So about 2,500 a month. We take that information, and the same questions that are asked, things like the loyalty question, are very common on all the surveys. If you're running with those questions, we benchmark your results against the industry. What that does is it helps you with your teams when you're setting goals to know where you're sitting at that time. And when something dips, one of the metrics dips, you're able to go to the comments and go into the details to figure out what's causing that to happen. So it's basically giving you a high-level view of how you're doing objectively against the industry. We started with loyalty, which is the one we're looking at here, but we've also just recently expanded into product quality and service quality as well, and there's other ones that are going to be coming out.
Okay.
The second thing is the dashboard that has all the data sitting in it so that you can drill into individual surveys. And here's an example of the recommend question. So you're seeing that 76% of your print buyers are very likely to recommend you, and those are the ones that are loyal, passionate, you can get referrals from. And then you'll see at the bottom, 4 people, which is the blue number, 2% are very unlikely. And so you'd want to jump on those, figure out what's going on.
So with this screen here, you can see how they can export this out either to Excel or create a PDF. You see the questions being asked and basically the results. So this is a good way to get that feedback.
Correct. And you can add a filter too. So if you want to look at just the last month or just the last quarter, or just look at a certain list of questions or type of customer, that filter is really geared toward whatever way you want to slice the data. And then if you go into a meeting, convert to a PDF. If you want to just print it out, bring it into a meeting. And then if you really want to go nuts, you can export it into Excel. Most people don't do that because the report is very robust and you can usually get at whatever you need without having to get into another series of report writing.
That's good. So what else do we have?
And then the last thing is, this is just an example of how a question can be, you can ask a question like, apart from what you're buying from us, what else do you have a need for that you buy elsewhere? And this is an example of leads. I mean, basically, these are people, and this is a real example where people have clicked saying, I didn't know you made signs. I didn't know you had marketing consulting. And those are examples that you can hand to your sales rep to go after. So the surveying, a lot of people think of surveying as always reactive. And it doesn't have to be just reactive. You can actually use it as a marketing tool.
Yeah, no, this is a good proactive approach. So basically, as a printer, I can list all my services, knowing that particular customers I'm only doing one type of service with. They can get this survey seeing that I'm doing these other services and how likely they are to come to us for those services as well.
Right. There's 2 things. One is it's a subtle marketing message,
Yeah.
but also it is other-centered because they have that need and they like you, and if they're very likely to recommend you, they want to give you more business.
Yeah,
so
so
it's other-centered. It's not you're pushing stuff down their throat.
Yeah, it's doing 2 things. You're letting them know what you do, and then
Yeah.
you're getting some feedback that they may be interested in some of those services.
Exactly.
That's good.
And then the last part is the comments. And the comments are gold. 25% of the customers usually give you some kind of comment. It's either a very glowing comment, that's most of them, or like this example in the 67 survey here, you're undercount 50%, kind of hassles, called 3 times. That would be one where you'd probably get an alert from us. Because, by the way, if someone gives you a bad rating, you get that survey sent to you immediately.
Oh, okay.
And it's in an email that says alert. And so you can click, get that survey, call them within minutes, and turn the thing completely around. Because most companies don't do that. And that's another best practice, is when you get a survey, if you act on it, it's a tremendous loyalty builder. What happens when you stay at a motel, you fill them out? I hate to pick on that industry, but most of the time, shower's cold, you never get any acknowledgement.
No.
And so you never stay there
No,
again.
it's very important to respond because that shows, one, that you're paying attention and that you care about the service and the business that you provide. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. So, Michael, one of the most important questions probably for everybody is, what does it cost to have a service like this?
Craig, you're in luck because today we have the pricing guide right here on my laptop. So anyway, the pricing is $49 a month for a monthly launch, or if you want us to launch once a month for any orders from the previous 30 days, or if you're launching from the application. $69 a month if you want us to launch every 2 weeks. The reason why people sometimes like that is they want the survey delivered closer to when the order is received. And then $99 a month are usually for larger printers where they want it to be delivered every week and get it within days of when they get the order. Most run with the $49 a month and it's fine. They're able to react quick enough if there was an issue. There's a $100 setup to get the survey right, get the questions right, everything the way you want it, branded to your way. And then there's no additional fees after that. There's no long-term commitment. You can cancel anytime. It's paid month to month. And there's a 100% guarantee. We know we need to perform every month and give you good leads, good feedback. The next steps would be to fill out this form. If someone wanted to try this out, Customer Pulse form gives us everything we need to get the survey set up, and we schedule a time to go through everything with you on the phone, and then you do a test drive before it goes out to your customers.
Very good. Does volume have anything to do with your pricing structure?
That's a good question. There's no volume. You can give us 1,000, you can give us 50, it's the same.
Excellent, excellent. So, Michael, I want to thank you for coming and showing your product and service to us. It's all good stuff, and hopefully our customers will feel the same way. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Craig.
You're welcome. It was good seeing you. Well, this was another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I want to thank everybody for taking the time and watching this video, and keep your eye out for more to come.